So this beautiful client here had a skinny BBL, or a low BMI Brazilian butt lift. So when she came to see us, her BMI was probably around 18 or 19, and we had her gain weight prior to the procedure so we'd have enough fat to transfer to fill out her hip dips and really round out her buttock area. So this is her before. So we took in the key zone area, which is around the waist area. We harvested the fat, we purified it, and then we transferred it to her lateral area, which is her hip dip area. So we did fat transfer over here. She's a couple months out in this post-op, so most of this volume she's gonna retain over time. And we noticed that over time that skinny clients, or all BBL Brazilian butt lift clients, typically if they're gonna lose volume, it's gonna be in the lateral, the areas marked in blue, but the projection area really stays. This client was interesting because she actually had 3 C-sections in the past. So we did a subcision or release of her C-section scar. You can't see it, but it's very low in the photo over here. And we also tightened her abdominal area with external and internal tightening, all in the area in red. So we tightened her abdominal area to really help make sure that skin would snap back after 3 C-sections, 3 kids, and she had some light stretch marks. So the best candidate for this is someone who has minimal stretch marks, not a lot of laxity. They can qualify for internal and external tightening. So this client was a skinny BBL, low BMI BBL, Brazilian butt lift. So she had to gain weight prior to the procedure. We had her gain about 12 or 15 pounds. She ended up losing a couple the day before the procedure. Took in her love handle area. So this is the key zone, love handle area. We harvested the fat, we purified it, and then we transferred it back to her buttock area, rounded out her hips. So this is a healed photo, so she's a couple months out. Pretty much the volume, what you see is what you get. She won't lose much more volume over time, but we can see over here taking in her waist and adding volume to her buttock area. That's a skinny BBL, low BMI BBL. So Lipo 360 over from the armpit to the upper buttock on the backside, harvesting the fat, purifying it, transferred to the buttock area, and we also added volume to her posterior pole of her buttock area, filled in her buttock area, and this is in red is where the most volume is going to take, and the area in blue we do expect to lose a little bit over time. This client here is another athletic or natural looking BBL, skinny BBL. Her BMI was lower than 24.7 when she came to see us. We asked her to gain some weight. She gained weight prior to the procedure. We did Lipo 360. We contoured her. It was an asymmetry case, and we'll show on the back side where her back was curved. So we added volume to her buttock area. We rounded out her hips, and then we highlighted or sculpted her abdominal area to give her a nice, natural, balanced look. She's about a year out in this post-op photo, and we'll see from the backside how she was in asymmetry case. So on the backside on this client, we can see her back or her spine is curved. So if she had scoliosis surgery, meaning curved spine surgery in the past, so her spine curves to one side, then curves back to the other side. You can see that from the scar there. And what that does is that made her hip dips look asymmetric or uneven. We're never 100% even, especially in someone who's had scoliosis surgery or back surgery. The dip is deeper on one side versus the other. So we did Lipo 360, skinny BBL, natural BBL, harvested fat, purified it, transferred to her buttock area. We added more to one side than the other to help create balance. We'll never create 100% symmetry. By creating balance, it's going to make it look like her buttocks are more even than they were pre-op. And you can see we did this through all hidden entry points, no visible scars on the backside. So we get tons of clients who want a Vixen BBL or a very rounded out buttock area. So typically clients who are getting this done may have had a BBL elsewhere like this client did, and she came to see me because she wanted a super tiny waist, full laterals, more of a Vixen, like in the Vixen look, for the waist to hip ratio to be closer to 0.5 and the normal 0.72. So we took in her waist area, and then we harvested the fat, purified it, and then we really focused on her laterals. And if you look, I'm gonna do a quick drawing here on her waist to hip ratio, and that's measuring from the narrowest portion of the waist to the widest portion of the hips. Typically we're seeing 0.72 as a waist to hip ratio. Again, everyone's body is different, all clients are different. And this client, we were probably closer to a waist to hip ratio of somewhere around 0.5. So we measured that by doing, in green here, we measured from her waist to her hips. So the smaller the number, the lower the number, that means she's got wider hips and a narrower waist. So this is a Vixen BBL round 2 BBL. This client had lipo elsewhere, fat transfer to the buttock area, BBL elsewhere. She came to see me because she wanted even more volume in her buttock area. Her BMI was around 28. So we did revision lipo 360, highlighted her abs, added volume to her buttock area to give her that Vixen look. So what does that mean? That means we took in her waist area in yellow, and you'll see in red, we really gave her a lot of projection. We rounded out her laterals, and then her waist to hip ratio now is somewhere around 0.5. So that's measuring the narrowest portion of the waist to the widest portion of the buttock area. You can see the green on the bottom is about twice as long or as wide as the green on top. So that would take her waist to hip ratio to roughly about 0.50, with the normal being 0.72. And that's a classic Vixen BBL. So a common question we get is, can I get contouring to make it look like I had a BBL without having fat transfer to the buttock area? So yes, absolutely. Depending on your body shape and your form, if you have a good volume to your buttocks area, we can contour or take in the waist area. This client, her BMI was around 27. She had one previous child. She didn't want fat transfer to the buttock area, so we really sculpted her abdominal area. We took in her waist, lipo 360, and we'll see on the back side how we made it look like she had a BBL without doing fat transfer to the buttock area. So lipo 360, we do everywhere from the armpit to the groin on the front side, same thing on the back side. So really by sculpting and contouring her lower back area, the key zone area, taking in her abdominal area, we made it look like she had a BBL, and you can see over here, just by contouring this area, she's got a nice curve to the lower back area where it looks like she's had a BBL, but nothing was done to her buttock area. So in the right clientele, absolutely we can do lipo 360, and we can contour to make it look like you've had fat transfer to the buttock area, and none was done, by really flattening out the belly and taking in the lower back. So lipo 360 on the back side is everywhere from the armpit to the upper buttock area. So we contoured her upper back area, we took in her waist, and you'll see in the key zone, which we're going to mark out here in green, in the key zone we really highlighted her upper buttock area, sculpted and contoured the lower back sacrum area, which is part of lipo 360, and afterwards you can see where it looks like she had a BBL, because her buttock is now rounder and fuller, and we didn't actually do anything to the buttock area. We just sculpted her, we shaped her, and now it looks like she had a BBL, and no BBL was done. The after photo, she's about 9 months out here in the post-op.